The world's attention is focused on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Tensions have reached their peak. In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons by the Ukrainian armed forces, Russia tested the Oreshnik missile system in a non-nuclear hypersonic configuration under combat conditions. Vladimir Putin spoke about this in an address to Russians and warned Western elites about the consequences of further escalation. The Pentagon pretended not to be surprised, while Zelensky demanded a strong reaction from the world. The UN called the use of missiles by both sides a step in the wrong direction. Zelensky complained about Ukraine's respected partners for their lack of response to the Russian counterstrike. Olga Davidovich will continue the topic.
The West has been given a very clear signal. It is now the #1 topic in global media, a message with no room for nuances. The combat testing of the latest medium-range missile system Oreshnik is a response to NATO's aggressive actions.
November 19th. 6 tactical missiles from the US, and on November 21st, during a combined missile attack with Storm Shadow systems from the UK and HIMARS from the US, strikes were made on military targets in Russia's Bryansk and Kursk regions. From this point, as we have repeatedly emphasized, the regional conflict in Ukraine provoked by the West has taken on global elements.
It is necessary to respond to such actions, and although Moscow has repeatedly stated its desire to resolve disputes peacefully, it is ready for any developments. As a demonstrative countermeasure to the strikes with Western long-range weapons, a combined strike was carried out. Moreover, 30 minutes before the launch, Russia automatically notified the US via the Nuclear Risk Reduction Center. The Pentagon confirmed this information. Experts say Moscow's response was still mild, not even mirrored.
Undoubtedly the test. The medium-range hypersonic missile Oreshnik, capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear warheads, and the destructive strike on the Yuzhmash plant in Ukraine, serves as a warning to the West that it is playing with fire and could lead to World War III and nuclear war.
It should be noted that there are no means to counter such weapons on the planet. The missiles attack targets at a speed of 10 Mach. At the end of the flight, the warhead splits into several maneuverable warheads. Even the most modern air defenses cannot detect them. The launch range is up to 5,000 kilometers, with a power of 150 kilotons. Even without a nuclear charge, the new weapon is extremely dangerous for adversaries sponsoring Ukraine with long-range missiles. Moreover, there is the possibility to program individual warheads for different targets. In the end, we have a hypersonic missile that cannot be intercepted at launch. And in flight, it's impossible. There's no point in hiding from its impact. The estimated flight time to the UK is 19 minutes, to Belgium 14, to Germany 11, but to Poland only 8. It's time for Kyiv's partners to think about the reckless and fatal escalation of the Ukrainian conflict. But in the West, they traditionally shift the blame.
Let's say I see 2 sets of reactions to this. The State Department and the Pentagon have essentially stated that they have learned no lessons from what is happening. Moreover, they believe that Russia is acting wrongly by trying to stop this conflict. Therefore, I repeat, they openly say they are ready for a nuclear exchange to maintain their leadership in the world.
In Europe, Russia's actions were seen as dangerous. German Chancellor Scholz called the launch of Oreshnik a frightening escalation. However, he confirmed his decision not to supply Kyiv with Taurus long-range missiles and not to strike Russian territory with German weapons. But Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán urged the US and European countries to take Putin's words about using Oreshnik seriously.
Any country providing Ukraine with its weapons could become a target. This is not a communication trick. There must be an understanding that a country like Russia is different from us. It bases its policy on military strength.
News of the new Russian weapon, which no air defense system can intercept, is on the front pages of most world publications today. As the New York Times writes, Putin's move has become a threatening signal for the West. The newspaper emphasized that the missile can carry a nuclear charge. The British Mirror called the use of the ballistic missile a warning shot by Putin. But the French Parisien acknowledges that the launch of Oreshnik occurred due to the permission to use American, French, and British long-range missiles.
In terms of intelligence analysis, the West suffers from a combination of biased information presentation and a tendency to find arguments in favor of its own point of view. They have already decided for themselves what Russia's capabilities and intentions are. At the same time, there is a total misunderstanding and underestimation of both Russia's potential and its readiness for counteractions. Imagine a mirror situation if Moscow provided medium and short-range missiles to Mexican drug cartels, which then struck across the border into the states. Texas, Arizona, or New Mexico. The U.S. would perceive this as an act of war and would immediately respond in kind. Yet we think we can easily do this with Russia, and it will just accept it as a given.
The statement by the Russian leader about the first successful test of the latest hypersonic missile Oreshnik literally exploded in the world media. Putin's speech was broadcast worldwide from India to the USA. The search for the new Russian missile on Google Trends increased by 1,000% in just a few hours. There is particular interest from the States. By the way, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has already arrived there to meet with the future president. He intends to convince Trump not to make concessions to Russia. But the newly elected American leader remains silent for now. Rampa assured that the Republican will try to restore peace worldwide, but with a focus on American power. He has already discussed Putin and Ukraine with several European leaders in phone conversations. No details of these talks are available yet. It seems Washington is still determining its position. An emergency Ukraine-NATO meeting is scheduled for November 26th. Then we'll find out if the West will continue its doomed race. Olga Davidovich, Daria Devyakina, and Mikhail Drugakov. First information.